the competition or turf wars, would have there been any turf wars between these two gangs?
The cartel and
the Hollywood gang?
I wouldn't say that, because the Hollywood guys are from a very small area. They were concentrated in a very small area. So whatever they did would happen in that area. The cartel guys were the big organization that encompassed all the areas in Wentworth where different gangs were allegedly from. So they combined those, and then they were fighting against those Hollywood guys who were concentrated in a very small area. So I wouldn't say turf, because if we're talking drug turf, right?
Yes.
So the cartel guys basically controlled the whole of Wentworth, and obviously outer areas, which I can't confirm. It's just social media that would speak on that.
And in terms of the reports, if I may just ask, and you, with sympathy from your side, where was Bevan associated between the two, if he was?
Okay, I'll go a bit deep with this one. Bevan is from the Reich Road area. When the cartel thing rose up, Bevan, there's an area where they would, in the flats where they would sell the drugs from. It's actually got a carport and a pool table. It's like a little club area. He would go there. When this cartel thing started, he withdrew from going to that area, because these cartel guys were now, he could see that what the agenda was, and they were starting to harass people from the area. So he withdrew, and he started sitting around. When he did visit there, he would go to my mother's place and sit outside. In fact, we call it the corner of the flat on the gable side. He would sit there with the younger guys, Michigan Chase, etc. So there came a stage when he said to me, the guys that he grew up in school with, when they greeted him, he would say to them, please don't greet me anymore, because I don't approve of what you're doing. I'm not your friend anymore. So he didn't break his friendship with Dane. He still remained friendship with Dane and some of the people from the Hollywood area. So I think that because he was friendly with them, he saw him as belonging to them. So I believe that's where this aggression towards him started. And those youngsters, Michigan Chase, to name other few guys. I think that's what it was about.
So on his part, he was not involved with any of, if I'm trying to get this, he was not involved in any of the drugs, and it's just that the people that he was with.
Association, yes.
Okay.
Why don't we finish the statement so long, please? Yes.
Thank you. I think we're left with one paragraph, literally, yes. Mr. Loftus, would you please read it on your statement, page 23, paragraph 78.
A few days after Bevan was killed, someone sent me a picture of Brent Thompson's WhatsApp status showing a photo of a tow truck labeled Roadstar with the captions, "The fastest lives the longest," with a hash emoji. A printout of the WhatsApp status is attached as GL3. Brent Thompson is Mr. Clive Nike's friend and associate. One of the last things that Bevan had said to Mr. Clive on the call of January 25th was, "The fastest lives the longest."
Can you then turn to page 114 of that very file? That's annexure GL3.
Yes, I'm here.
Is that what you are referring to?
Yes, that's what I'm referring to.
Okay. And who's Brent Thompson?
Brent Thompson is from the Wentworth area. He was associated with the cartel organization. He was, I would say, one of the main operators in the cartel, because it was known that Clive Nike was the supplier of their drugs. And he was associated with another player called Puffy as well, Brandon Kalicharan. So he was, if I can put it simple, he was the main player for the cartel, the in-between between Clive and the cartel, as far as the drugs are concerned.
Sorry, just repeat that. I didn't.
So he was the main player between Clive Nike and his organization, the cartel, as far as the drugs were concerned. I can go as far as to say I've spoken to associates of his, and as far as they're concerned, they always used to speak about Clive Nike as his father, and in some instances he would say that that's his king, his role model.
So just to take back what I think Commissioner Kumalo had said, there's a suggestion that we are making, and I just want to make sure that we are correct in it. We are saying that Brent Thompson, Mr. Thompson, was an associate of Mr. Nike.
That's correct.
But then you are putting drugs in it.
Yes, the association was drug-related.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know why he would put this statement, this caption?
Yeah, well, the fact that he did that, it shows his association with the organization Roadstar, which belongs to Clive Nyker. So it shows his association with Clive Nyker, and he's taking joy in the death of Bevan. To me, this is a boasting picture. Yeah. In other words, the fastest lives the longest. They've got to Bevan and killed him. Not saying him, but the Clive Nykers.
Is the question not, are you not connecting it to the 25 January conversation where your son said to Mr. Nyker, the fastest lives the longest, right? Yes,
I am. That's why I mentioned with the caption, the fastest lives the longest. It's him depicting with pride. In other words, they've won the battle. I'll say a bit more about Brent Thompson, who, I think it was before Bevan was killed. He did an interview on ENCA where he confessed that he's a drug dealer. And he said a lot of things about myself and Bevan. He actually implicated me as the brain behind the organization with the drugs and the tow trucks, etc., which I'm not.
Which organization?
The drug organization that Bevan is alleged to be involved in,
which is
the operation of drugs, the selling of drugs and the trading in drugs.
Oh, not the name, not an organization.
No, not as such.
Okay.
But, he's the guy. If you see, go to ENCA and you Google him. He's the guy with the mask covering his face.
Yes.
And I found that strange because I was wondering why did the ENCA reporter actually find him, or how did he get on there? Because before Bevan was killed, when we had information, I thought, let me go to the media and put this out there. Maybe that would cause Dean and him to back off him. But I had no joy. So I thought, how is it that a guy that's like a drug dealer gets access to him with such ease? You know, I couldn't understand that. Yeah, but his sole purpose on that interview was to associate us with drugs and gangsterism.
Thank you. Chair, just to complete this now, the video that we're going to play would have depicted these events that he's talking about, of the man with the balaclava and his own interview and what the former Minister Chere had said after the incident of the shooting. And that's where I think the important part that we wanted to contextualize this whole discussion in about being gang-related and the use of law enforcement for this.
So Mr. Loftus has placed that on record himself now. Is that your point?
Yes, I'm just contextualizing.
Meaning we no longer have to play the video, or we still have to?
I think in the issue of time, Edward, we can stop with the video. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
All right. Thank you then. Yeah. Please continue then.
Chair, in truly in the interest of time and understanding certain dynamics, I would end it here.
Mrs. Kakan, perhaps please consider summarizing your own impressions of the video insofar as it relates to Mr. Beaven Loftus and put that to Mr. Loftus Sr. For his response.
Okay. Thanks, Chairperson, for your guidance. You would have seen the video, I presume. Well, you did an interview. Part of it is the allegation that, the allegations are that the late Mr. Bevan Loftus was involved in drugs and was a very ruthless, that's what it portrays him as, a ruthless gang member or criminal. And he was involved in eliminating his opposition. And they depict him as a very dangerous man. That's the one thing. And that is from that gentleman, as you say, and also from the Minister of Police's side, right? And your interview was to dispute that.
Yes.
But we'll get that. That was then. But in line with what the chair is proposing, not proposing, is what would be your comment? We've gone through some comments earlier on, but in light of that, if I'm summarizing the video, what would be your comment to that narration about Mr. or your late son?
I would go back and say again, that's new sensationalism and social media, because I don't know where they get that from. So I would dispute that he's a killer and he's a drug dealer. I would dispute that. But having said that, as we said earlier, I'm not with him 24 hours a day. But in the last year or two of his death, he was at home all the time. So I've got no control of what social media and the news is. It depends on who they interview. You know?
Sorry, I do have to take this point. You truly can't say that. I mean, he went into hiding and you're not with him all the time.
Okay, yes, having said that, I wasn't with him during that time. Yeah. That was from February. Okay, the first occasion was from December the 13th to sometime later. I'm not specific because he came home for a short period, and then from February until he died, I don't know what he did in that period. I can't speak on that.
And prior to that, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't be with him 24/7.
As I said, while he was at home in that period, or when he was at home, I can vouch for it. But obviously, when he's out in the streets, I wouldn't know what he's doing. But if you look at in terms of charges and cases, etc., that besides these alleged shootings, before it led up to that, there were no cases that came forward where police came in and said they're arresting him for violent crimes, etc.
Okay. Let me just summarize what you are saying and see if I understand it. So your version is that your son was not involved in any activities gang-related. Everyone was wrong about him. He was.
As I say, it depends who you ask.
Okay. All right. Chair, I seriously don't want. There's going to be other witnesses to address other issues. And those
Thank
photos.
you. Thank you, Mrs. Kakane.
Commissioners,
Yes.
if we're closing now, there's a few points I'd like to raise, which I think is important, which is not in my statement.
Yes.
I want it to be known that when I went to the flat, we happened to hire a private ballistics guy as well. I haven't got the report yet for reasons that, right. We did, when he left, I helped him with the investigation there, but there's some items that bothered me. So I went back to the flat and I did a video, a walkthrough of the flat with IOL, with the editor of IOL. And that video was aired where with my knowledge and understanding, I gave a summation of what I think happened. It wasn't long after that was aired. I'm not date specific. I received a call from a member of the police in Dina's office. I will not mention a name. That said to me, pack a bag and disappear because they're coming to kill you. Says, I heard a discussion that you've become a threat to them, which I did. I packed a bag immediately. And I basically, obviously, my whole nervous system went to another mode. I sat down and had a cup of tea. My son came to me and he said, they're coming up the driveway. I grabbed my bag and I jumped over fences. I went to the neighbor's house. So while I was there, my daughter-in-law who lives in my granny cottage, the police went to her. And there was, I think I need to say this policeman's name. Can I say his name? Because he did this. I mean,
Well,
okay, I won't say his name now. Let me tell a story.
Yes, yes.
And so I fled. While I was at the neighbor's house, my daughter-in-law called me. And she said to me, this policeman he's from organized crime. He wants to speak to me. But she said he had a docket in his hand. And he didn't come alone. I got pictures and a video of how they came. There were a lot of them, a lot of vehicles, etc. So he said to her, he wanted to speak to me. I says, no, I don't want to speak to him. Has he got a case against me? Why are they there? So he says, no, he hasn't got a case, but he needs my help to, I can't remember what he says, identify somebody or locate somebody, because I was in another state at the time. So he said, there's no case against me. He just needs to speak to me. So I said to tell him I've got nothing to say if there's no cases against me. Then I could hear the conversation. He says, tell him that he can meet me at the police station of his choice and he can bring a lawyer along if he so wishes. So I said to her, if there's no case, I'm not cooperating. I don't want to be serious or speak to them. Then he went on further to say, because I was still appearing for these cases that I was charged for, that I can't remember the exact date, but an appearance was coming soon. So he said, okay, it's not a problem. You'll get me at court when I appear. So I managed to get someone to take me somewhere where I went into hiding because I know that I didn't do anything wrong. So when it came to the court appearance, I happened to catch the flu at that time. So I went to a doctor I was actually under the protection of my pastor. So he took me to the doctor, and I got a certificate, and I submitted it to the court. On the day, the attorney and friends of Bevan's that were at the court called me and said, you know, you are lucky you didn't come here because these guys came in here guns blazing looking for you. So at that, I was away from home for about 18 months, and I didn't hear anything of the case. I approached an attorney who used to be with the DPP, and he's supposed to have followed it up to find out what's happening with the case, and I didn't hear from him. Every time I phoned him, I couldn't get him and go to him. So as time went, there was an ex-policeman that I used to work with. He happens to know the guy. He's a colored guy. He used to live in Wentworth. He approached the guy and he said to him, why are you doing this to him? You know that it's not true, so what has happened? So he said, yes, he was asked to do it by dinner, and they were going to help him with a promotion. So further, I was just fortunate. It sounds far-fetched, but I was fortunate. There's an attorney that was at the Durban court when this policeman walked in to the office of the prosecutor. It's not the SPP, but the prosecutor of, it was Court 9. And they had a discussion. This policeman was discussing the case with him, and he said to him, the prosecutor said to him, you can't arrest him. You need to take a warning statement. But earlier, when this ex-policeman said to him, a question about what he's doing, he had said to the policeman, tell him to come to my office and take a warning statement. But I didn't trust him. I thought they had an agenda. Having received the phone call from that policeman, saying that they're going to kill me because a discussion was heard to that effect. So I was gone from home for about 18 months. That's the one point. I've never heard from it again. I don't know the case number, but I did establish that it was an intimidation case, whereby after the shooting, I was getting, and information was coming my way. One of the policemen that were allegedly involved in the shooting is a captain of the Metro Police. I received reliable information that he had booked off on trauma after the shooting. So I discussed the matter with my attorney and I gave him the information. So he said to me, if I can establish the guy's right name, because Captain China sounded like a nickname, and establish which branch he works at, because the Metro has different regions that they work in. So I knew a young man that knew Bevan and myself. So I called him and I said, look, I need help. This is what my attorney has asked me to do. Can you tell me whether this guy's name is Captain China or has he got another name? And if you can say which department he works in, because the attorney needs to correspond with that department. I believe that that was the contents of the intimidation. That youngster open intimidation. There's count 1, and count 2 was Captain China himself. And I established later that the elements of this was that he felt threatened that I asked that information. And I haven't heard anything of that case today. That's the one item. So, and then when Bevan was in hiding, and the same IPA policeman that was handling my daughter-in-law's case, he called me the one evening, and he said to me, Greg, do you know where Bevan is? Which I didn't know. So I said, no, I don't know where he is. So he said, can you establish where he is? Because they've got reliable information that Clive is sending guys to kill Bevan. They believe he's in a hotel in Madlanga. So I went to his wife and I asked her to call him, and I gave him the information. He denied it at first, at that time. So I went and reported back to this policeman, and he said, look, there's nothing they can actually do because they've got their team together, but every scenario that they look at, if they approach, it would result in one of their deaths, so they can't intervene. Later, when I spoke to Bevan, he said to me, yes, he was at the hotel. He didn't say the name of the hotel, but he said when I phoned him and told him that, he left the place. That's number 2, which I think is important. So what I'm saying that is because it would show from the information that there was an intention by Clive to kill him, because the policeman said so, and I believe it's from a source that can't be revealed for identity purposes. Yeah. So that's the second one. The third one I want to say is, earlier I spoke on Captain Varley. I'm saying his name because I already mentioned his name. I'm going to raise this again, or I'm going to mention it again, which to me was important because when these guys came with the Ballet cases, they never mentioned it again after that. They pursued the case of attempted murder, which they say happened at the bluff meet. Captain Varley was, I'm not sure if I said it earlier, Captain Varley was the duty officer. So when a shooting happens, he has to go to the scene and write a report. I believe that report was written in the office under the direction of Captain Dina Governor, because he didn't attend the scene, because there was no scene to attend. Then they pursued this youngster based on that attempted murder, because when we were even at the court, they kept saying it to myself and the attorney, the attempted murder he's wanted for, which did not happen. So basically they pursued him on that. And then when he was killed, They charged him for that group for 11 cases after he was killed. And the amazing thing is that on the 1st of April they were killed, somebody charged them on the police system. So they were charged for 11 cases after they were dead. So I find it's important because if they had to make a case, create a case, that tells me they didn't have anything on him to arrest him. So I think they didn't want to lose face with Clive that had paid them. So the way I understood it was they had to get him at any cost, then they could do with him what they wanted. I thought I just needed to raise that. Last item. The guy that used to drive for Bevan, I didn't mention his name earlier, but I won't mention it now. He attended an accident scene not too long ago, and he called me out of his own, and he said, you know, I got to tell you this. I did mention Captain Bevan's name before because he was part of the team. He's the guy that mentioned to someone previously that this shooting didn't happen because he was with them at the Blue Lagoon when a phone call came through, and they're saying Bevan's driving around the bluff, and they rushed through. And thereafter, the shooting incident was created. But at the time, Bevan was at home, and the driver, Mr. Eckhart, he had been the driver. And we got video footage of the butchery where Eckhart is going in and out, yes? And they would say, maybe Bevan stayed in the vehicle. But I'm saying that the hard drive was taken because we could have proven that Bevan was at home at the time. In my opinion, they had no reason to remove that hard drive because it wouldn't help any case of theirs. I think it was to hide the evidence that they were acting incorrectly or against the law. So on another occasion, the same Captain Bevan, this guy phoned me, the driver, and he says to me, Captain Bevan met him at the scene. And Captain Bevan, they would discuss the matter, and Captain Bevan said to him for the second time, to a second person, that he was present and there was no shooting that took place. They created that whole crime. So to me, that is key for them pursuing him on that matter. On the same scene, the same driver of the vehicle said there was a policeman of the local station attending, which happened to be Wentworth. Before the time of his death, I think from between January and the time he died, there had been a shooting incident in Wentworth where people drove past in vehicles. It was on social media, and they were shooting at the flat area in what they call the F section area. That was where one of the cartel leaders, who is now deceased, had lived and he was operating. The policeman related to the driver that on the day he was working, there's a picture on social media where one of the police vans had holes in the windscreen where they were shot at by these guys. He said, Dina approached him and said to him that he must say that he saw Bevan shooting him. Now my question was, why I think it is important, if you have solid cases to arrest Bevan, why do you want to create another false case? And I will leave it there. I thought that had to be known. So that will add to why I say that they were hunting him.
Any questions on what Mr. Loftus has just said, Mr. Skakana?
No comment.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Loftus.
Thank you.
You are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.